Alright, what is up folks? Welcome back to another video series here. Today, got something very exciting for you, and that is Black Red Pack Rat Moon. Now before we get started with the deck tech, just want to let you know that in the description, there's going to be timestamps to let you jump between, the deck tech, the matches, and the closing comments, all that good stuff. So if you don't want to watch any specific part of the video, feel free to check out the description. Also in the description is going to be a deck list to this, as well as some other links that you can check out for yourself. So go ahead and make sure to check the description. If there's anything you're looking for or you think is missing, first check the description and hopefully it's there. But let's go ahead and get started with the deck tech for today. Today's Under the Microscope series will involve Black Red Pack Rat Moon. And if you're not familiar with this deck, that's okay, because while it is a quote-unquote developed deck, it never particularly picked up much traction. So it was played a bit, but it didn't top 8 any major events or things like that. But a red-black mid-range deck has always been very alluring to me, because I think that a very smooth mana base paired with some of the powerful grindy elements of the black-red colors, I think can go a long way in winning games of Modern. Now, obviously you need some powerhouse cards to win in Modern. You can't just play this fair game and expect to always get there. You need something that is both fair and unfair at the same time. And this is what a card like Blood Moon does, and it's what this card Blood Moon adds to the deck. Now, if you've seen Mardu Pyromancer or basically Blue Moon or anything like that, it's these decks that have a pretty good, fair, game plan, but they include a card like Blood Moon because they can afford it, because it randomly wins them games. And that's what Blood Moon is going to do for us here today. It's not integral to our game plan, even though it's in the name of the deck, but it's going to definitely help us win certain matchups or certain games when our opponent is unprepared. And, worst case scenario, because our deck is designed to be like this, we can always get rid of Blood Moon in some way or shape or form, and that's what I'll go over right now. So, we went over the first half of the deck's name, which is, the Blood Moon aspect, but there's also the Pack Rat aspect. Now, we're playing this black-red shell with a card called Pack Rat. Now, Pack Rat's power and toughness are each equal to the number of rats you control, and 2 and a black, discard a card, create a token that's a copy of Pack Rat. So essentially, it can turn every single card in your hand into a 3-mana Pack Rat. And suddenly, if your opponent has no answer for them, you're growing, a huge board state that can end the game pretty quick, and your opponent is going to have a very hard time to deal with that. And the great thing about the rest of the deck is that it's designed to make sure that we can, get to a point where we can take advantage of these tokens and this discard outlet, right? We have a solid discard package with 4 Inquisition of Kozilek and 2 Thoughtseize to clear the way of our opponent's threats or answers, and so we can buy ourselves enough time to actually disrupt our opponent such that we can actually use Pack Rat. We can also, instead of just clearing the way for Pack Rat, we can also clear the way for Dark Confidant. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. So Dark Confidant keeps the cards flowing, even though it deals some damage to you. Ideally, you're going to be in the driver's seat, and these extra cards will help you take control of the game, or put kind of hit the gas pedal with Pack Rat. Keep discarding cards and also interacting. Now, we mentioned that the discard is going to be really important into some of our curves, but we also play 4 Lightning Bolt, which is the premier red removal spell, coupled with 2 Fatal Push, also a great removal spell for Modern. A little less versatile than Lightning Bolt, I would say, but it definitely has some hits that, Lightning Bolt cannot kill, like Death Shadow and some other, cards that for some reason I can't think of right now, but there's plenty of other cards that Fatal Push hits that Lightning Bolt doesn't. I don't know, like Courser or Crewfix. 4 toughness creatures that are really annoying to have to deal with. They exist in Modern, just take my word for it. And then you also have Terminate and Dreadbore for your removal package, so you have basically 8 pieces of spot removal. And then you also have 2 Collective Brutality, which is a very versatile card. It's either a Duress mode, it's a removal spell, it's a drain effect. Collective Brutality is just one of my favorite cards in Modern. I think it's so powerful in most games. Worst case scenario, you pitch it to Pack-Rat. Or worst case scenario, one of your other cards isn't good, you pitch it to Collective Brutality for an extra mode. So essentially it turns your card quality up, and that's what's really nice. It can turn any one of your other bad cards into a slightly better effect for the matchup. So that's what's so great about Collective Brutality. So this is going to be kind of our lower curve here. Our 1 and 2 drops are going to be mainly disruption in the form of removal and hand disruption, as well as our 2 mana either threats or card advantage engines. And that's what's going to be happening in the 2 drop. But once we move over to the 3 drop, we get something slightly more interesting, right? Kolaghan's Command is a very great grindy card in a lot of matchups, as well as just a really powerful removal spell in certain matchups, right? The ability to just destroy an artifact at instant speed, or deal 2 damage to a creature at instant speed, or a planeswalker, or make your opponent discard at instant speed, or return one of your own threats back from your graveyard to your hand. So Kolaghan's Command is so versatile. The fact that you get to choose 2 of these modes means that it's almost always going to be relevant at any given point in the game. So that's what's so awesome about Kolaghan's Command. Then we play, again, the 2 Blood Moon we mentioned. We have 2 Liliana the Veil, because getting Pack-Rat plus Liliana going is actually really powerful. You can play Pack-Rat, you can discard the card you draw for turn to Pack-Rat, and then still uptick Liliana, assuming you're Hellbent or something like that. And basically it's a one-sided discard. Liliana just makes your opponent discard a card while you got a Pack-Rat token. So Liliana plus Pack-Rat working hand in hand is really sweet. Liliana the Last Hope is another solid grindy element for these black-red mid-range decks. You can buy back one of your creatures from the graveyard, but you can also, tick up on opposing creatures to let your Pack-Rats or Dark Confidants attack through, or any of your other creatures. And then its emblem just wins the game on the spot, basically. I mean, there are some decks that don't care about that emblem, but for a 3-mana walker, being able to emblem and win the game against most decks is pretty sweet. Then we also play 3 Goblin Rabblemaster. Now, Goblin Rabblemaster is a card that's, not seen in many decks, but if you follow the Mardu Pyromancer development, you'll know that Goblin Rabblemaster is a pretty common card in their sideboard, and it's even sometimes in their main board. And the reason being is that because you need a threat density in a deck like this. You have a lot of disruption, but if all you do is disrupt your opponent and give them enough time to draw more threats or draw out of whatever they're doing, then you're going to lose the game, right? So you need a threat to back up all your disruption. And Goblin Rabblemaster is just insane disruption, especially if your opponent spends their removal on your Pack-Rat or your Dark Confidant, and then you slam a Goblin Rabblemaster and they don't have an answer to it. Goblin Rabblemaster gets out of control very quickly. He generates 1 red Goblin creature token every turn, and then when he attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each other attacking Goblin. So by turn 4, it's attacking for, 6 damage total, because it gets +2 from the other attacking goblins and the goblins themselves. So the first turn you play it, it's 1 damage, next turn you play it, it's 6 damage, and then it keeps going up. And so Goblin Rabblemaster ends the game very quickly, even when you're under a Blood Moon, right? Sometimes you land a Blood Moon, but you don't have a way to close the game. Goblin Rabblemaster closes the game very quickly once you've locked your opponent out with a Blood Moon, and that's really, really important. But instead of playing the 4th Goblin Rabblemaster, I decided, you know what, Hazard's a pretty sweet card. You also get to discard, you discard a lot in this deck, like Pack-Rat and Liliana the Veil, so you're probably going to be able to be Hellbent or on 1 card pretty often with Hazard. So that's what I really like about it. It's a fast clock, it's indestructible, so it's going to be really powerful in like the creature mid-range matchups. And it's also got the ability to just dome your opponent in case you're locked out behind, say, like an ensnaring bridge or something weird like that. It's just a secondary win con that's very hard to answer. So Blood Moon into Hazaret is also a pretty solid curve. And then we also have a Chandra, Torch of Defiance at the top. It's a card advantage engine, it's removal, and its emblem just wins the game on the spot as well. So a lot of good things going on here in this main deck. We got 24 lands to pair with our 1, 2, and 3 drops. So the 24 lands, the reason I want 24 lands is because you really want to hit your land drops for this deck. You really want to curve out at 3, and then sometimes you want to hit your 4th land for these 4 drops, but you can't just play like 22 lands and hope to get there because of Dark Confidant, right? This is the same idea why Jund plays 25 lands. Like, yeah, it's a mid-range deck. You want to deploy your mana so that you can use it all. You want to be able to play a threat plus interact on the same turn, or you want to develop your man lands or something like that. So there's a lot of things going on here that are very similar to other 2 or 3 color mid-range decks, and you want to make your land drops. That's definitely going to be really important, and you want to have a lot of lands also because you don't want to lock yourself under Blood Moon, so you want to have 10 fetches here. Each of them can fetch up a basic swamp, so essentially you have 13 basic swamps in the deck, and then you don't even always draw Blood Moon, but just the ability to have these fetches is really important. So 10 fetches. You have three Shocklands, 3 Blood Crypts to find from those fetches or just play naturally, 2 mountains and 3 swamps, and then 4 Blackleaf Cliffs. And then one thing that I haven't mentioned yet is Mutavault, and it's what you'll notice on the text of Mutavault here is Mutavault becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types until end of turn. It's still a land, and if you read Pack Rat, Pack Rat's power and toughness are each equal to the number of rats you control. So essentially, Mutavault can become an extra rat for you. Now, while it won't get pumped, similar to how Pack Rat's power and toughness is equal to the number of rats you control, it still will add an extra kind of rat counter to your other Pack Rats, which might end up being really relevant. Now, it's a little awkward because we have quite a few double black spells that we want to hit. We also play Blood Moon, so there are going to be a fair number of games where Mutavault might cut us off from casting our own spells, and it might also just get randomly shut down by Blood Moon. But, we're going to take that risk, and I think with 24 lands and most of them being colored sources, that we can afford to run, 2 colorless sources and hope to not get screwed out of the game, right? But you never know. These things could come back to bite us. But we'll test it out and we'll see if it works. In the sideboard, let's jump right over there. Ideally, what I want to target with this kind of deck is big mana and control. Those are going to be our 2 toughest matchups. I think we'll be a little better against aggro and mid-range, but combo, control, and big mana are all going to be very difficult for us. So what that means is we have 2 duress here for control, combo, Tron, just as some, discard that doesn't deal us damage, which means we can also side it in against burn. Now we have the 3rd Collective Brutality for burn as well as control and combo. We have 4 Leyline of the Void because graveyard-based, combo decks or creature-based combo decks, whatever you want to classify those graveyard decks as, Leyline of the Void just shuts them down, so we need 4 of those. 2 Alpine Moon helps against Valakut and Tron. We also have Grim Lavamancer here. This is one of the tools for the creature decks, because you can't just be soft to them. It's nice to have some things to bring in against opposing creature decks. So Grim Lavamancer can be really good with a stocked graveyard. We have an Anger of the Gods, because that's also great against both graveyard-based creature decks, as well as just go-wide creature aggro decks. We have 1 Shatterstorm here, because it's going to be one of the best things we can do against Hardened Scales Affinity and KCI. We have Angrath here, which is a really awesome Planeswalker to resolve against control or mid-range matchups. You make your opponent discard a card and lose 2 life, and then its ult is going to be usually game-ending. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. If you're at the point where Angrath is ulting, then your opponent probably has quite a few cards in their graveyard, and that can get them pretty close to dead. And then 2 Damping Sphere against Storm, against Tron, against Amulet Titan. Damping Sphere is just against KCI. You want to have tools that are able to interact and beat combo decks. Okay, so that's going to be just the general cover there of this Black-Red Pack-Rat Moon. I think I covered most of my bases here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the first match in this Under the Microscope series. So if you've never seen an Under the Microscope series here, then what we do is we go through the deck and we take the deck through 3 matches in the single queue competitive lobbies on Magic Online. So again, we're going to be paying ticks to enter these lobbies. The idea is that we get mostly competitive decks. Now, I don't have all the time in the world to screen every matchup, so if for some reason I run into a deck that's not competitive or will not be good for a viewing experience, I generally will not show that and then replace it with another match. But that hasn't happened to me in a very long time. I don't expect it to happen soon, but just know that I will do my best to make sure that even though it's not going to be a friendly or competitive league, we're still going to play competitive matches here on Magic Online. Alright, so again, I think I covered my bases, and hope to see you stick around for the first match, and coming up in just a second, I will see you all very, very soon. Alright, what is up, folks? Welcome to the first match here in this Under the Microscope series with Black-Red Moon. Let's give our opponent back that GLHF. Let's go ahead and hit yes, because we won the die roll. Ugh. See, again, this is why you play 24 lands, because you don't want to see hands like this. I think that's going to be a mulligan for me. Oh, jeez. Yeah, let's go to 5. Oh my god. Wow. I guess we'll keep this one. Alright, that's a Mutavault on top. So we'll have Inquisition into Dark Confidant. Hopefully Dark Confidant can draw us out of this. We'll see what our opponent is on. Our opponent mulliganed down to 6 as well. So they went down to 6, we went down to 5. Let's see, how did my opponent scry? They scry to the bottom. Looks like they're playing some sort of combo deck here. Altar of the Brood into Mere Retriever. Interesting. So if we take Altar of the Brood, then they just play Mere Retriever on turn 2, and when it dies, they return back Altar of the Brood to their hand. So I think we just take Mere Retriever, because we're going to have to end up killing it anyways. Similar to how you just take, Eternal Witness when you see it in your opponent's hand. With a discard spell. There's the Altar of the Brood. Interesting. Whoops. We want to slam that Confidant. And hope that it'll draw us out of this mess. We always have Kolaghan's Command to answer this Altar of the Brood. Alright, looks like they play fetch land. Milled our other Mutavault. I guess that's pretty good. Okay. Let's see if they have a 2-drop here as well. Interesting. They have 3 Overgrown Tombs in their deck, so I wonder if they're basically a green-black deck. Alright, there goes another land. Wouldn't mind one of those. Ooh, Heartless Summoning. Interesting. Alright, looks like we still hit a land, which is nice. Let's go ahead and rev up Mutavault here. Attack for 4. We're gonna try to clock our opponent as fast as possible here. Alright, there's a Blooming Marsh. Let's see if our opponent top decked a creature to play for this Heartless Summoning. I guess Mere Retriever is a combo. Ah, Mere Retriever is a combo with the Heartless Summonings. Okay. Totally forgot about that. Ooh, Pack Rat. Do we just want to deploy Pack Rat here? Probably. It probably increases our clock by a bit. Because Mere Retriever dies and then targets itself. Okay. Opponent's down to 9. Oh, no. Alright. Altar of the Brood. That's not a kill. They're milling us, but we're not dead. So now they have one more Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, they have one more Overgrown Tomb left in their hand. Inquisition, we know doesn't do anything. So do we have the kill here? Rev up Mutavault, that's 6. Yeah, we have the kill. So that's going to be take 6. And opponent's dead. Got him down to 0. Wonderful, wonderful. So, seems like Graveyard Hate might be pretty good in this matchup. I'm going to take a wild guess. I like Duress as well. Damping Sphere, it does return to hand, so this does shut off the combo. Shatterstorm also kills their stuff. Angrath seems a bit slow. Don't really want to make them discard. Fatal Push we can probably cut. Collector Brutality also seems like a reasonable cut. Dreadbore Terminate. See you later. Liliana the Last Hope doesn't seem too exciting here. Let's bring in some more hand disruption. Let's get these ley lines in here. Chandra seems, again, a tad too slow. I guess Shatterstorm and Damping Sphere is kind of a non-bow. But maybe we'll bring in one Damping Sphere. Yeah, because I don't know if I explained the combo well enough, but I'll explain it once we jump into the next match here. Mirror Retriever and Heartless Summoning. Heartless Summoning makes your creature have -1/-1 toughness, power and toughness, and this hand has no hand disruption. Couple lightning bolts. I'm gonna mulligan this hand. I know it's a bit aggressive, but this is much better. Still have our Pack Rat. You know, we have an Inquisition now, but essentially Mirror Retriever, they get to loop Mirror Retriever while milling us out. Ooh, Goblin Rabblemaster, also a pretty sweet pickup here. Alright, there's part of the combo. Gerard's Orders. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards, reveal them, put one into your hand, the other into your graveyard. So I think I actually take the Heartless Summoning in this case, because Gerard's Orders is going to get them a Mirror Retriever eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Heartless Summoning here. There's the Botanical Sanctum. They don't deploy the Mirror Retriever. Interesting. They don't deploy the Mirror Retriever, so do we just Inquisition them here and take it? I guess not. I guess we just play a Pack Rat here. Uh-oh. What you got for me, opponent? Alright, nothing. Maybe something? No. Alright, yeah, I wasn't. So they're fully in Sultai colors, which is interesting. What's nice about this matchup here is that if they don't combo off yet, then alright, there's the Mirror Retriever. I think here I just play Goblin Rabblemaster Baral. And next turn we can go Inquisition plus I don't know. Plus pink a Pack Rat token, but now my opponent's going to get the Gerard's Orders. Interesting, they don't go for the Gerard's Orders. Oh no, did they play the wrong land? Yeah, that is awkward. Another Goblin Rabblemaster. Whew. Okay, well we know 3 of the cards in their hand, so I'm actually gonna Inquisition, I think, post-combat. That way, if I have to discard an artifact and they want to block, I think I'm just gonna offer up the trade here for my Pack Rat. Interesting, my opponent's just chumping. Okay. So now I'll fire off this Inquisition. See? Alright, just double Gerard's Orders. My opponent just completely... Because I guess Heartless Summoning would have... Well, they still need Altar of the Brood here. So they have a combo, but they don't have the mill. So this is a 3-card combo. Well, it's a 2-card combo, but... No, it's a 3-card, right? Heartless Summoning, Mirror Retriever, Altar of the Brood. Alright, there's the Altar. Wow. Okay, so that's one piece. Alright, mill me, sure. But this is just dead on board, right? They Gerard's Orders here. It puts the stuff into their hand and graveyard. And they're just dead, right? Not the most competitive first match here. But my opponent is capable of a turn 3 kill. So, you know, I'm not gonna pretend like this game is always a cake. This matchup is always a cakewalk, but it's definitely not the not the kind of matchup you see. I guess I left that open. Not the matchup you see all the time. All right, Street Wraith into the graveyard. All right, well I'm just gonna go to combat and attack with everything. Don't have to show my opponent Leyline of the Void if for some reason they're not dead. Well, looks like we were able to walk away with the win there. And we even had the Leyline hate. I wonder if my opponent had Gerard's Orders the turn before. They basically wasted their turn 4, right? But if they had Gerard's Orders exactly on turn 4, and they got their Mirror Retriever, Then they, I guess next turn they top deck Alter, but then they get to play Mirror Retriever and maybe block something here. I don't know. I think my opponent was still dead. Their start was a little too slow, and the fact that we took Heartless Summoning ended up paying off in the end. But yeah, that's how these matchups go sometimes. When you're a combo deck and you have 3 pieces you're digging for instead of 2, hand disruption is really powerful. And so that's why I like playing like red-black decks like these, is that you have a good mix of disruption that attacks most decks. You have bolts, you have disruption, hand disruption, you have solid threats here, like Goblin Rabblemaster turn 3, Goblin Rabblemaster turn 4, and then turn 5 kill. So sometimes when you disrupt your opponent enough and you apply pressure with Rabblmasters, you get the job done. And I'm sure if you folks who watched me play Mardu Pyromancer are probably very familiar, with this line of disruption into Rabblemaster, into closing out the game in just a couple turns after that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this first match here in this Under the Microscope series of Black-Red Pack-Rat Moon. Let's see if we can run into maybe a slightly more competitive deck next match. I'll see you guys soon. Alright, what is up, folks? Welcome back to the second match here with Black-Red Pack-Rat Moon. In this Under the Microscope series, we have lost the die roll, but this hand seems great. Turn 1 Disruption, turn 2 Disruption, turn 3 some threat. Seems good to me. Let's see if our opponent jumps out of the gates here with anything powerful. I think this hand is going to be pretty nice. Looks like it's a Storm deck. This hand could be pretty good against Storm, right? We have turn 1 Disruption, turn 2 Disruption, turn 3 a pretty good Clock. Blood Moon is not going to be too good here. We might even just pitch it to Collective Brutality. But there are some games against Storm where you just cheese them out. So we'll consider it. Another hand disruption spell. Don't mind if it's put 2 cards on top. Never want to see that against Storm. Let's just go ahead and start with some disruption though. Let's see, couple rituals. I think we definitely want to take the rituals here. They don't have a win condition, and Serum Visions doesn't seem to be like the card we want to take. So, and their mana base is actually quite bad. We could hit them with the Blood Moon here. All right, they're gonna go start with their first Serum Visions here. So they've drawn 2 cards that they wanted. They have 2 new cards in their hand, and they'll be scrying now. Once more. 1 on bottom, 1 on top. So even next turn, they're going to be drawing a card that they want. See if they do another ritual. No more ritual. So, I think here, I want to still Inquisition them. Alright, opt. Goblin Electromancer. I think we just take the ritual, right? We have an answer for the Electromancer. At the same time, though, we kind of want to curve into Blood Moon next turn. How risky. They could opt into a ritual and then draw another ritual for turn, which would be Electromancer, ritual, and then ritual, Past in Flames, but then they don't have anything to go off with, so I think I'm just okay taking the other ritual here. And we can try to Blood Moon them, potentially. I wonder if it's worth it to Blood Moon. Again, there's going to be a couple choices for us here. Let's see how they scry to the top, right? Because that was still the card they had off of Serum Visions. So they just basically cycled opt into the card that they scried to the top with Serum Visions of the past turn. And now they drew another new card for turn. Alright, they're just going to go for the main phase opt. Maybe looking for a basic land. Opt, again, scry to the top. Slide of hand. Alright. Shivan Reef. I think I'll fetch here. Just thin my deck a bit. Well, How much black mana do we really need? Might as well, right? I don't know. This is one of those weird moments where Blood Moon is actually good against Storm. Aw, man. Never lucky. Never lucky. Can they go off here with Electromancer double ritual? I don't think so, but there's Electromancer. Do they have Manamorphose? If they found the Manamorphose... Alright, no Manamorphose. Sweet. I'm going to cast with 2 modes. Target opponent reveals their hand. Target creature gets -2/-2. I'm going to go ahead and pitch this Swamp, I believe. So they do have the Manamorphose. They also have the Baral. Ugh, that's rough. Baral is pretty good against Goblin Rabblemaster. I think I take the Manamorphose. And then I also take the Past in Flames. This is just going to make it really hard for them to go off. The Baral is a pretty good card in their hand. The fact that they have Basic Island is pretty good, but... Alright, second Basic Island. They're not playing... Oh, God, that was such a good draw. Now we have a way to kill Baral as well. Interesting that my opponent did not deploy it. But I guess... Because if they played Baral this turn... Like, if they played Baral this turn, then they could have Past in Flames next turn for 4. And then started ritualing and stuff. So I guess I understand not playing it, but... Okay, start with a sleight of hand. Fair enough. Yeah, I guess that sleight of hand doesn't reveal anything to us, so we can't get any information that way. This Rabblemaster is going to be the exact kind of clock we need. Hopefully our opponent didn't find like a grape shot off of that sleight of hand, because this is all we got going for us right now. Wouldn't mind like a pack rat off the top. That would be really nice because we have 4 lands. We can keep up Bolt plus discard a card every turn. It's weird though because they saw hand disruption. So them playing around a removal spell with Baral is not playing around hand disruption. And I guess we technically have more removal spells at this point, but... Alright. Just gonna get in there. I think we're lethal next turn, right? This is 6. Next turn it'll be 10, right? We get +3, 5, plus... Oh, it's 8. 8 is still lethal. So they got to play Baral here or they're dead. So we're definitely gonna let Baral resolve here. If they start going off with Baral in play, then we'll bolt. We'll bolt the Baral. Alright. This is ritual number 1. Alright. This is where we want to interact. Even if my opponent has a remand right now. Alright, that worked. My opponent has 5 mana. They can flashback. If they have 1 more ritual... Oh, Serum Visions. Okay. And now their odds of going off are pretty low. They can draw Grape Shot right now. Looks like my opponent probably conceded, though. Whew, alright. Look at that. Taking down these combo decks. Alright. Damping Sphere in. Leyline in. Collective Brutality in. Duress in. Lowering on the Last Hope out. Chandra out. K-Command, out. Dreadboard Terminate, out. And now what? Blood Moon, out. It actually did not do anything that game. That's a lie. It might have constrained them a little bit. Definitely want to find room for this Duress. Maybe we want to cut 1 Fatal Push. Killing Barals is pretty important, though. Maybe we want to cut 1 Liliana. She's not the best, actually. I'd rather have targeted discard than letting them discard like their Past and Flames from their hand, and then go off after I tapped out all my mana. So yeah, I think we have a pretty good sideboard for Storm here. We have some clocks in here as well. Disruption, a lot of disruption. 8 1-mana discard spells, 3 2-mana discard spells, plus a 2-mana kind of you can't storm card. 4 graveyard hate pieces. Maybe we want an answer to a yeah. Let's all right. I caught myself there at the end there. Definitely want an answer to Empty the Warrens. Hopefully my sideboarding went through here. Yeah, looks like everything is all good. This is a keeper. We have removal spell, we have discard spell, we have a threat. I'm pretty happy with a hand like this. there's the old ley line right on time. Let's see if my opponent wants to like opt in response or something. Usually I think opting in response is not correct, but I am obviously not a Storm pilot, so I could easily be wrong. Ritual, Metamorphose, Gifts Ungiven. Ugh, that's a scary one. Do we just want to take the Ritual here? I think so. I think I just want to take the Ritual. I could have taken the Metamorphose because it replaces itself, but next turn we can just bolt the Electromancer plus Inquisition away the Metamorphose. Looks like my opponent is going to play their Mountain here. Yep, there's the Electromancer. The other ley line. Perfect. Let's start with Inquisition here. Double Metamorphose. Okay. Take one of them. Definitely want to get another black source here. Just definitely want to kill that. So we guess we don't want to see our opponent top decking a Ritual effect, because that would have let them Gift Ungiven this turn. But if we can land Leyline of the Void at some point in the game here, but one on top, one on bottom, alright. Plays the Shivan Reef. Is that just a better clock than Pack Rat? I think so. Wonder if they drew like a remand here. No remand, so. Alright, well, you know, discard Bolt, Rabble Master. We can't hope for much more than that. It would have been nice. Ooh, Pieces of the Puzzle. That's a good one. Ooh, I'd only found them a Serum Visions, though. Oof. Don't even have their 4th land. Ah, God. I think we just play the Pack Rat here, right? Play the land. Next turn we can play one of these ley lines, I guess, and hope that it's good enough. Alternatively, we could have lethal if they just, you know, play another Pieces of the Puzzle or something like that. Thing in the Ice. Ooh. Now that's a magic card. Alright, they draw a card off their Serum Visions. Let's see how they scry. One on top, one on bottom. Okay, if we can find like a Fatal Push, they're dead, right? No Fatal Push. So let's think here. If we rev up Mutavault, do we force a block? Mutavault, they're both 2/2s. This is 3 coming through. 7. Wait. Okay, let's... This would be 3 Goblin tokens. That would be attacking for 5, 8, 10, 12. But they can just block one of the little ones here and not die. I am very scared that Metamorphose will let them go off next turn, though. Is putting them to 1 worthwhile? I think we just start with an attack. see how our opponent wants to proceed. Do they want to block the Pack Rat? Because we can rev up Mutavault and then also discard a card, which will be 3 damage here, 8 and 11. But then they definitely, did they say no blocks? God, I hope I'm doing my math right here. 3, 5, 8, 11. Yeah. That's lethal. So I guess my opponent was playing around Lightning Bolt, right? But they did miss the fact that there was an onboard kill. So you probably shouldn't play around a card that you can't afford to play around, but that's just me. Maybe my opponent just didn't do the math. I mean, we were about to not do the math ourselves. We were about to just like slam Leyline and attack, right? You know, or even rev up Mutavault and attack. But this ended up working in our favor. So we just beat Storm 2-0. That just happened with Black Red Pack Rat Moon. Rabble Mastered being an insane magic card, just dealing so much damage over the course of a game. Again, a turn 5 win is pretty common with a Rabble Master unanswered, which is really awesome. The fact that you're a disruptive deck that can actually kill your opponent in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, that was the second match here against Storm. This under the Microscope series is going by quickly. We're not even getting the chance to grind out. So let's see if we'll get a grindy matchup for the third match, or maybe it's just another, you know, combo or aggro deck or something like that. Anyway, stick around for the third and final match. I'll see you guys in just a moment. Alright, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the third and final match here with Black Red Pack Rat Moon. We won the die roll. Let's go ahead and play first. Yeah, that's a keep. You know, no turn 1 hand disruption, no turn 1 removal spell, but at least we're on the play with a slower hand like this. And it's so weird that, like, interacting by turn 2 is just a little too slow sometimes in Modern, right? Easy to get steamrolled. Oh, Forest. Ancient Stirrings. Okay. See what my opponent is playing. Ooh, this is going to be a Hardened Scales Affinity. Good deck. Good deck. Let's go ahead and get a Blood Crypt here. They have quite a few forests in their deck, so Blood Moon is not the greatest in this. Ooh, Terminate is a really good pickup. Really good pickup. Alright, let's go ahead and just get a basic Swamp. Play the old Bobby. Alright, let's see if our opponent plays like a X1 here. Yeah, oh, this is going to be good. Just hit 2 lands. Why not? Oh, doesn't that just feel so disgustingly good? Oh, jeez. Oh, baby. Yeah, now they basically can't play X1s into Liliana, and so then we just get a bunch of value off of Bob and eventually win, hopefully. Pendlehaven is good, but probably this turn they want to deploy Throne of Geth. Because if they deploy an X1 creature, it'll just die to Liliana. They could play a Walking Ballista here that blows up our Dark Confidant. That would be not a bad play, but we do have K-Command to buy it back. We also we should probably maybe save K-Command for a more impactful sequence of events. Yep, Throne of Geth. Makes sense. God, just drawing more cards here. Oh, what do you got for me, Bob? There's the Pack Rat. Don't mind if I do. So here I think I want to keep up Terminate, so let's just go ahead and deploy Pack Rat like this. And this is basically the combo, right? We have Bob going... Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I almost forgot to tick up Lily. Definitely don't want to forget to do that. Her ult will win games. Alright, yeah, if my opponent just spends all their time casting Ancient Stirrings here, I'm a happy camper. Alright, there's a Hangerback Walker. So that is a start. Ooh, but the tap land. Ruins of Oran Reef. That's so close to my name. In fact, I had a student send me an email earlier, and they typed my name Oran. So, uh, seeing this card triggers me in a very special type of way. And it looks like my opponent just was like, I can't keep up with this. And you know what, opponent? I agree. I don't think you can keep up with this. Yeah, I'll take the win here. All right, Shatterstorm, Anger of the Gods. Both seem great. Even Angrath gain control and then sacrifices. Like, I could take control of a Hangerback and then I get the tokens, which is sweet. Grim Lavamancer also seems not bad. Leyline is interesting, but I think it's not good enough. Because you get to shut off, like, Arcbound. You get to shut off modular triggers. You get to shut off Hangerback Walkers and things like that. But I think we do a good enough job with that anyways that we don't need it. So being on the draw, definitely want to cut these Thoughtseizes. Definitely not the Thoughtseize matchup. We could probably cut one Blood Moon. I'd like to keep in one because it does shut off their man-lands, and they could have certain draws where they don't have a basic forest. We definitely want to keep all our removal. I like Dark Confidant in this matchup. I think it's a pretty good way to kind of force our way through. Definitely want to get this Shatterstorm in here. Definitely want this Grim Lavamancer. Definitely want this Anger. Maybe want to trim one Rabblemaster just because it doesn't line up super great against my opponent's board sometimes, and so maybe we just want to be slightly more control-y. Plus Anger plus Rabblemaster isn't necessarily quite a combo. Not that we have to fire it off immediately. Again, I am close to sighting in these ley lines, but I'm just not close enough. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and hit submit here. Got a lot of a mix of good things here, and if we can do something similar to the last game, we can hopefully get there. I like Collective Brutality over some other cards, mostly because oh yes. Oh, don't mind if I keep this. All right, we got that turn 4 Shatterstorm lined up here. Let's pack it in, boys. Pack it in. See what my opponent finds. Finds a Steel Overseer. Good thing I have an answer to that. So if one of these was a Bloodstained Mire, I'd lead on that, but I'd rather be able to bolt on turn 1 if I want to. So if my opponent just leads on Steel Overseer here, we can go ahead and kill it, and then land Dark Confidant. Ooh. Definitely want to bolt now. I don't know why necessarily. I guess the reason we would want to bolt now is because maybe if they have another 0-mana artifact, but we'll always have a moment to respond, so it's not like the end of the world. Alright, here they could have a Walking Ballista for 1 that could kill our Dark Confidant. Alright, Hangerback Walker for 1. Hangerback is the one card I don't really want to see. Ooh, Evolutionary Leap. Also not a card I want to see. Right, so I think we definitely want to blow up this Hangerback Walker here. Mostly because that plus Evolutionary Leap just gets out of control very quickly. Let's deploy our Pack Rat. I don't want to trade this Dark Confidant here. God, Evolutionary Leap is so good. And the fact is we don't have Engineered Explosives. Now that this is resolved, we have no way of getting it off the board. And this Shatterstorm doesn't seem like it's going to do a whole lot right now. Especially in the face of an Evolutionary Leap. Oh, do they have a Karn? Oh, Hangerback for 2. Gosh. Still keeping up Evolutionary Leap. Oh, interesting. They sacked the wrong one. Alright. See if we can draw out of this. No, just draw some more Pack Rats. More Bobs and Pack Rats. So Shatterstorm, not quite good enough here. Not quite good enough. So here, get a Swamp. I'll play a Pack Rat. So these will increase each other's power. And then I'll attack with this pack rat. And I guess, no, I think I want to keep Bob around for one more turn. And this forces them to pop Hangerback here. Now pack rat's a 3/3. Yep. And let's see what they find off here. Hopefully not another Hangerback Walker. Arcbound Ravager. Oh boy. Oh, that's a scary one. Thankfully they don't have a Hardened Scales. But that is pretty scary in conjunction with Inkmoth Nexus. Ah, they drew another forest. That's actually so good. And they're tapping a forest. So I'm happy with that. Okay, we're not dead here. They don't have lethal, right? Okay. Just one infect. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, Bob, what you got for me, Bobby boy? That's actually not bad. That Inquisition. I'm gonna go ahead and Shatterstorm here. Alright, they're gonna sack one. Find another Arcbound Ravager. We can take one of them, thankfully. Or we'll take... Oh, did they just find double Arcbound Ravager off the top? Jesus. Guess we'll take one of them. No, 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 come on. Just the perfect rips off the top for my opponent here. Well, that's a Dreadbore. We're getting close to dead, though. So, probably want to start closing out the game soon. Yeah, now my opponent has a decision to make here. So that's good. We could pump this to make it 4, and then we just do 8 damage. That's not a lot, but does playing Hazard actually do anything for us? Don't think so. So, just going to discard a Bob here. Get in for an extra point of damage, and now we have a pretty good board next turn. Makes it hard for our opponent to get aggressive. Another Hangerback Walker. God. Okay, well, if we hit 2 bolts, they're dead. I guess not even, because they have Phyrexia's Core. So it's going to be a close match. My opponent could go Arcbound Ravager. They could play Hangerback for 1. Arcbound Ravager for 1. Sacrifice a bunch of artifacts. Load up a Thopter. So that's 1. Arcbound Ravager is 1. 2 for the Citadel, 3 for one of the Thopters, 4 for one of the Hangerbacks, 5 for the Thopter it makes, plus the 1 power on the Thopter already. That's 6. Any non-land card we flip off the top is lethal. So if my opponent wants to go for that line, they can... Oh, and now I actually think we're dead. I think the fact that they found that Darkseid Citadel, it's a 0 mana artifact. Now I think we're exactly dead with what they have. Well, let's see if my opponent does the math. Okay. Alright, looks like they did the math here, unfortunately. Yeah, but... I wonder if we were supposed to Dreadbore one of the Thopters instead of making a Pack Rat token? That just seems so wrong, though. Oh, I guess they don't even have to. They just have to sack the Thopter. Oh. What? They're putting me to 1. Alright, there's a chance here. Bob, flip a land. Come on. Reduke style. Oh no, by the way Magic Online is pausing, I think we're dead. Ah, come on. Ah. Our opponent misses lethal. Come on. Okay, well. I don't think we can do anything particularly different this way. Maybe we just want to cut the Blood Moons. I don't know, how good are they? Maybe we can even bring in like a Duress. Kind of like that. Kind of like Duress here over Thoughtseize because life total matters, especially in the Dark Confidant deck. More turn 1 answers to that card that just got out of control, the Evolutionary Leap. Yeah, this is a keep. This is a pretty good keep. We have so I actually think I'm going to deploy this Lavamancer on turn 1. So you got the Hardened Scales. Alright, there's the Hardened Scales. That's also a pretty annoying artifact, but Stirrings, Arcbound Ravager, Walking Ballista. Probably we will want to take the Walking Ballista here because it kills our Grim Lavamancer. And I guess we just hold up Grim Lavamancer. I guess we could attack, but I'd rather be able to play a 3-drop next turn if our opponent just goes for an Arcbound Ravager. Alright, Throne of Geth. Guess we missed out on a point of damage here. Well, now we definitely missed out on some stuff. Alright, there's another Ancient Stirrings. So we'll know 2 cards in their hand. Hangerback Walker. Let's see if they have a land. They do. They found another land for that. Alright. That's the Hangerback Walker. For X equals 2. Any lands? No lands. That's rough. That's really rough. I guess we just say go. Oh, no, we don't say go. What am I talking about? Yeah, we definitely don't want... Oh, my opponent could have proliferated Sacrifice Throne of Geth. But I guess maybe that's a little loose. And that was a little loose on my part, too. I missed that potential interaction there. Right, there's an Arcbound Ravager. Oh, don't tell me it's another one. I think we just have to Fatal Push that Steel Overseer here. My opponent's good sequencing for my opponent because now they can proliferate in response. Alright. Or they can just eat it. I guess that's the same thing without tapping the throne. Alright, hit a land 1 time. Come on, deck. I almost just want to Inquisition myself to fuel my yard. Is that reasonable? Just Inquisition targeting myself, reveal my opponent I have a K command? I don't know. I think that is also quite loose. Probably just want to do that. Yeah, I mean, again, the reason we play 24 lands is because we don't want to rely on Bob having to find us lands, but... think we have to block here. Sure, they proliferate. Again, we really need Bob to find us a land, so that's why I'm keeping Bob around. Oh, it's a land. Hello, land. How are you? Alright. Now it's a game. Oh my god. Alright, fine. Oh no. Oh no, are we dead? Did the second Arcbound Ravager mean we were dead? I think we were actually dead regardless. I guess we don't have to make a move here. Bob is going to die either way. This is just us, you know, kind of saving life. Destroy target artifact. Deals 2 damage to any target. And now we need like a Shadow Storm off the top. We need like Fatal Push off the top. I guess we have Packrat as a blocker as well. Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah, that's 3 bodies now. Yep. Yeah, so there was really nothing we could have really done to. Yeah. God, that's so frustrating. I feel like if we hadn't stalled on 2 lands, we could have actually crawled back and started Liliana, down-ticking on my opponent. But now we're very clearly just dead. And I think no matter what play we make, our opponent's not... I mean, this is 8 damage by itself, and we can't even produce 2 blockers. But that's the way it goes sometimes, unfortunately. If you always drew your lands in the game of Magic, there would be a little bit less variance in the way that the game goes, right? And of course, when your opponent just top decks 3 Arcbound Ravagers in a row, I think I'm allowed to be a little bit frustrated. But anyways, this is Hardened Scales Affinity doing its thing. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it in here and call it a game. Kind of a sad way to end today's Under the Microscope series with Black Red Packrat Moon. I think it's a pretty sweet deck. But at least we got to see it do its thing in matches 1 and 2, right? So stick around for the closing comments, and I'll be right back. Alright folks, welcome back to the closing comments here with Black Red Packrat Moon. I really enjoyed playing this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I think it produced a lot of good gameplay. I'm sad that we didn't hit our lands and our opponent just went crazy in Game 2 of Hardened Scales Affinity, and then Game 3 we didn't hit lands, but that's okay. Sometimes that's how Magic works, and it's okay to just brush that off and move forward. But I really enjoyed playing this deck. I think it has a lot of sweet lines, and I think Packrat and Goblin Rabblemaster both end the game very quickly, which is kind of what you need when you have Disruption. You know, Jund gets access to Tarmogoyf and Bloodbraid Elf, and, you know, Scavenging Ooze that grows pretty large very quick. You know, so we need cards similar to that if we're going to play a grindy mid-range deck like this. We can't just rely on, you know, disrupting our opponent and being like, hey, well, I stopped you from doing your thing for a couple turns and I win, right? No, that's not how Magic works. Your opponent's going to draw out of it if you don't apply enough pressure. So I think this shell is pretty good, pretty reasonable. I really enjoy the 75. You could probably do without maybe one of these cards at the top. I mean, having a bunch of 4-drops is not necessarily correct, so I think there's definitely some, you know, play to the deck. You don't have to play this exact 60 or this 75. And in fact, when I was thinking about the deck and what improvements could be made, I think Fulminator Mage is actually a pretty reasonable sideboard card. You see Jun playing 3 to 4 of these because they also play K-Command and Liliana the Last Hope in their 75. I think any deck that has that probably wants that instead of like Alpine Moon. So I think Alpine Moon could easily be changed to like 2 Fulminator Mages, and maybe you can even find for 1 more somewhere in here. Maybe over the Collective Brutality or one of the Duresses or something like that. There's definitely room for Fulminator Mage in the 75. That would be one of my first changes I make thinking about the deck. Second, I actually really like this part of the curve. I think, 12 1-mana spells, 12 2-mana spells. You almost always have something to do on by turn 2. And that's really important in Modern. There's a lot of times if you just play kind of this maybe like 8 1-drops or 8 2 drops or something like some number of that, there are going to be some hands where you just have like lands and 3 drops or higher, which is sometimes happens with a control deck. You have to look at your hand and be like Cryptic, Verdict, Terminus, 3 lands or something like that. That's your hand, and you're like, well, I don't think I can keep this necessarily because that's just not interactive enough for Modern sometimes. So I think those situations happen a lot less when you play low to the ground decks with low curves like this. But your 3 mana spells and up are pretty impactful on their own. You don't need a lot of work to make them good, right? You have these 3 mana Planeswalkers that do a lot of work when they come down. You have Kolaghan's Command that is just insane value as soon as you resolve it. Goblin Rabblemaster, once it's in play, you don't need to sink any more mana into it to make it work. Blood Moon is obviously insane, and Hazoret and Chandra, again, are a little bit iffy, but they're pretty good if the game stalls out a bit. So I really enjoyed this configuration. Mutavaults actually came in pretty handy in a couple of those matches, so I was very impressed by Mutavault. But what more is there to say about this main 60, right? I mean, we were able to beat 2 combo decks. I think we're pretty disruptive, and Goblin Rabblemaster is so good against combo. Hardened Scales Affinity, I mean, we saw why that deck is, was the number 3 played deck at the most recent GP, because it's just so resilient. You can remove their creatures, you can fight them as best as you can, but as you saw, Arcbound Ravagers into, Hardened Scales, into Hangerback Walkers, into Evolutionary Leaps, everything just goes out of control. Trying to 1-for-1 a Hardened Scales Affinity opponent is very difficult, especially when you don't have enough mana in play, right? So I think we also got to see why one of the tier 1 decks is truly a tier 1 deck, because if your opponent stumbles, you are just out of the game. And I think that's one of the key elements of a tier 1 deck. If your opponent stumbles, you punish them right away. Burn does this. Hardened Scales Affinity will do this. Their KCI will do this to you. If you give them even a moment of breathing room, they will punish you. There's Tron. Tron will punish you, right? So this is a theme that you find in tier 1 decks, where if you give them even just a moment, if you give your opponent a moment of breathing room, those tier 1 decks will eat you up. So I think that is something to keep in mind when you're building your modern decks, is that you want to make sure that you're not just disrupting, but you're also applying pressure and keeping the pressure on, so that your opponent doesn't just, have all the time in the world, all the breathing space in the world, and then they just get their combo or their strategy going again. Sideboard was pretty sweet again. Fulminator Mage is something I'd like to have in here. But overall, I really enjoyed playing this deck. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you like Black, Red, Pack Rat, Moon. Again, there's so many decks in Modern, and I know that I say I will revisit certain decks, and I definitely keep things on my radar, like Jabberwocky's Blue-Black control deck is something I definitely want to revisit soon. I know there was a lot of hype around that. Mardu Pyromancer is also a deck that I constantly come back to. So you'll see some consistencies in my channel here. I'm going to try to revisit certain things that people enjoy. So the best way to let me know that you enjoyed a certain video and that you want to see more of it is to let me know in the comments. And just because I don't come out with it within a week or even 2 weeks, it doesn't mean that it's not on my mind and that it's not that I'm not going to play with it. Okay, so I do appreciate you, voicing your opinion on whether you want me to play a certain deck or not, whether you like a certain deck or not. Also the opposite, if you don't ever want to see a certain deck on my channel ever again, feel free to say that. Please do it constructively, but feel free to say that. I'm all ears. I'm always looking to make content that is both enjoyable for people to watch, but also is enjoyable for me to play, because I'm not here to just highlight all the decks in Modern. I'm here to highlight the decks that I like in Modern, and that's that's one of the things about Modern. You have so much to choose from. So I think me sticking to the stuff that I like is going to just, in the end, produce better content, right? You don't want to watch someone be completely miserable play a deck that they hate, right? Which is why I've been steering clear of playing Blue-White Miracles. My channel has been, consistently playing blue-white decks, right? Or Jeskai decks. There's tons of that on there. But this latest iteration of Blue-White Miracles has just been absolutely horrific for me in my testing. Not in terms of its performance, but the gameplay is just not for me. Especially the mirror match. The control mirrors are not something that I enjoy playing. I don't enjoy spending 50 to 55 minutes of my time managing a clock instead of thinking about playing Magic. Because that's what these control mirrors end up coming down to on Magic Online, is managing your time and kind of making time-efficient plays, which aren't necessarily optimal. Because your opponent can be winning off Teferi and embleming, and they're winning in every respect on the board and in hand and everything like that. But once their clock hits 0, that's when you win the game for some reason. So on Magic Online, I'm going to finish this rant here. This is why you don't see Blue-White Miracles on my channel, is because the gameplay is just absolutely horrible. I don't get paid to play Magic or for user requested decks or anything like that. There's no benefit for me wasting my time playing like a 5-hour league, jamming Blue-White Miracles into the mirror match. Because if you don't know, Miracles was about 16% of the field at the latest GP. And that means you have a pretty high chance of not just running into it at the top tables of the day 2 tables, but you probably have an even higher chance of running into it in day 1. Now, obviously, we don't know the day 1, day 2 numbers convergence rate, and we don't know how that translates to Magic Online necessarily, whether people will play it or play decks that are good against it. Obviously, there's a lot of intricacies to it, and you might not run into Blue-White Miracles in your league at all. But, God, I keep saying I'm going to end the rant here. You guys are getting way more of a rant than I expected to, but it makes me very heated sometimes, because it's upsetting, because I love blue-white decks and I love Jeskai decks. You'll notice that in my channel in the past, my blue-white and Jeskai decks were some of my most popular videos, but lately it's just been very unenjoyable to play those decks on Magic Online. But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about the blue-white mirrors, if you've been running into those, and if those are enjoyable to you. Anyways, let's cut it off right there. I'll even put in the description a section where I go on Blue-White Miracles rant to let you guys know that technically the video ended quite a while ago. But yeah, thanks so much for watching this Under the Microscope series with Black Red Pack Rat Moon. And stick around for hopefully some more content this week. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to get to record is going to be, but I'm hoping that there will be something else later this week after this posting, but no guarantees, so just double check my channel, check your notifications, and see if I've come up with anything. Anyways, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.